This is Wednesday, October the 8th, and I'm going to demonstrate for you the Law of Conservation of Mass lab that we did in class today. What you need to do is take my measurements and put them on your lab sheet and then answer the questions and of course turn this lab into Miss Wade. So what we're going to demonstrate here is a very simple chemical reaction between vinegar and baking soda. So what we want to show is that our reactants, the vinegar and the baking soda, will have the same mass as the products. And here in our equation we see the products are sodium acetate and water and then carbon dioxide. So if you'll turn your sheet over, you'll see where we're going to collect data. The first thing we need to do is mass all of the things that we are going to use in the experiment. So I get a scale, turn it on, and make sure that it is on 0 and that I am measuring in grams, and both of those things are correct on the scale. So I find the mass of the flask by setting it on the scale, and I find that my flask has a mass of 30 grams. So on your sheet you would need to write 30 grams right here. The next item on my list is the balloon. So I mass it by placing it on the scale, again checking to make sure I'm at 0. My balloon has a mass of 3 grams. So I would place that here on the balloon line. The next item is the vinegar. Now vinegar is a liquid, so I'm going to need to put it in something. So I'm going to pour it into my flask. Now when I pour the vinegar into the flask, I see, or graduated cylinder, I see that it has a mass of 49 grams. However, my graduated cylinder was 30 grams, so I subtract 30 from 49 to find the mass of the vinegar. I'm going to use the same procedure basically for baking soda. I'm going to put the baking soda into the balloon, and I'll do that with a funnel. So I place the funnel into the balloon like so, and I'm just going to pour the baking soda in the balloon. Getting it way down in there, you got to shake it around a little bit. Sometimes it clumps up. And there we go, we got it all in there. So to find out the mass of my baking soda, I'm going to set it on the scale, and I see that I have a mass of 12 grams. However, I have to subtract out the mass of the balloon and then write that difference here on the line for baking soda. Now, the next step is to add up all these masses so I can see what the reactants, what the mass of the reactants was in the beginning, and record that right here. Now we're ready for the reaction. We take the balloon with the baking soda in it and very carefully place it over the top of the cylinder that has the vinegar in it. And now I'm going to take the baking soda and spill it all in there. Whoa, it immediately reacted, and you can see that it's blowing up my balloon. Also, you should be able to see the bubbles here being formed. I have lots of bubbles, and I can hear the sizzling. Maybe you can too. My balloon feels very cold too, by the way. So after my reaction, I want to take the entire thing and put it back on the scale to see if indeed I have conserved mass here. So when I put the entire thing on my scale, I see that I have a mass of 61 grams. Now your question, first of all, let's record that. So you would record that 61 grams right here, the total mass of all the objects after the reaction. Now compare the mass of all your objects before the reaction and after. So you want to compare this number to this number. Are they the same? Yes or no? So now what I want to do is release this carbon dioxide. That's what I have in my balloon, carbon dioxide right here. So I'm going to release that gas, and I think you'll be able to hear it. There it went. And now I'm going to put everything back on the scale. And I see now I have a mass of 60. So I place this here. What does that mean? If I had a mass of 61 before, and when I released the gas I had a mass of 60, that means that the gas that I released had a mass of 1 gram. So indeed, it did have mass. What you need to do at this point is answer your questions, and that would be submitted to me. Remember the evidence that I talked about when the reaction occurred. If there were problems, you need to tell me why it didn't support the law of conservation of mass, or if it did support it, tell me that. Now the reactants over here, it says list the reactant and indicate the state of matter. Well, the reactants were on the other side. They are vinegar and baking soda. Vinegar, of course, is a liquid. Baking soda is a solid. The next question, number 4, asks you to list the products and their states of matter. So we have sodium acetate, water, and carbon dioxide. Sodium acetate, I believe, is a liquid. Water is a liquid, and the carbon dioxide is a gas. You can use the internet to look up other ways to test the law of conservation of matter, and let me know here. This question, was the experiment an open or a closed system? If we had done the experiment with nothing over the graduated cylinder, that would have been an open system. But when we put the balloon over the top, we created a closed system, because in this system nothing escapes, everything stays inside. That's our lab for today.